Hello, so welcome to this video for COMP3218, Game Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name's Dave Millard, I'm one of the lecturers on the course, and I'm here with...
My name's Dan Hobson, I'm a demonstrator on the course.
So we're going to be having a look at a couple of student games in today's video. Dan, do you want to say a little bit about what we asked the students to do?
Yeah, for this piece of coursework, we wanted to see games with a clear core dynamic and some sort of tutorial aspect that teaches the game as you play it.
Brilliant. Well, that said, let's get on and have a look at our first game. So our first game today is called Cozy Garden, which sounds like it might be refreshingly different. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's hope it's not a getting slaughtered by zombies kind of game.
Absolutely. Okay, so here we are. We're in the... I've got some gentle music in the background. I like this. This is nice. Nice sort of up and down with the...
Yeah, it's setting a nice coherent tone. It's all very coherent. I don't know if it's deliberate, but the Y in cozy looks like a little tree or sapling. I like that.
Yeah, that's good, actually. Okay, well, let's start and see what it says. Welcome to your very own cozy garden. Hello. Okay.
At the bottom,
Choose a plant below, and then click on the grid to place it. Oh, this cloud effect is really nice. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, so I presume I've got seeds, trees, and decor. And I've got a dig thing. Choose a plant below. So it looks like I can only pick the red aster.
Yeah, the others are grayed out or something.
And click on the grid to place it. So I guess it doesn't matter where. So each plant has a quality value based on its environment. Bronze, silver, or gold. Okay. How do I see the quality, do you think? I'll click on the book to open the encyclopedia. Okay, so look.
Yep.
Red aster grows best on grass, thrives in sunlight, grows well next to orchids.
And that looks, is that the bronze? I think
Yes.
I'm going to guess 3 criteria for red aster. We've put it on grass. I don't know if we've not give it enough sunlight, and we haven't given it an orchid buddy.
That looks right. Okay, and then orchid grows best on mud, thrives in sunlight, grows well next to red aster. Hope you can see all unlocked plants and the best quality you've achieved for each. Okay, you can also see each plant's preferred environment. Okay. Alright. So can I exit, I guess? And that's it. I guess I'm in.
Right. And an orchid is unlocked, so...
So there's no limit to what I can... There's no resources to plant anything by the looks of it.
It doesn't look like. You've got limited space, presumably. You've got a 4x4 grid or something at the moment.
So, and then I've got kind of... I can't... It doesn't tell me... When I click, they go dim, but it doesn't show me which one is currently selected. But if I click on orchid... Let's see if I can grow an orchid. The clouds just parted. I have eyes. Okay. Click on the message to open the quests menu. Oh, that's good, because I was about to say, what do you think I need to do? So they've preempted me nicely. Each plant contributes to total score from the best you've grown. As you increase the quality of your plants, you will hit new next milestones. Okay. Each milestone you hit increases your garden area. You can also see the unlock method for other plants. I love plants. Very nice. Have at least a silver medal red aster and a silver medal orchid and a silver medal chrysanthemum. Unlock heather. Have at least... Okay. So when we came into this, I kind of, because of the cozy garden thing, I thought it was a kind of, almost like an engine builder type thing. But it's a little bit like that, but it's almost more of a puzzle game, right?
I would call it a puzzle game, yeah. You're trying to use your limited space to fit in all of the things that match the criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So I want a silver medal red aster, a silver medal orchid, and a silver medal chrysanthemum. Okay, so, alright. So, what do chrysanthemums need? Oh, I need to go to this thing.
Yeah.
You can only place trees. Oh, try placing one now. Oops. I'm sorry, I should be paying attention. Trees.
What trees have we got?
Oh, we've got all sorts of nice trees. So, yeah, I do wonder whether it's a little bit demanding for a game that's been created in a few weeks. But it would be nice to have the criteria down here on hover or something.
tooltip type thing.
Tooltip, yeah. Having to go in here is quite challenging, actually. Because I can't remember what... There's something that this said next to an orchard, I think.
I remember red asters and orchids are best friends. They like to be next to each other. I didn't remember what the chrysanthemums do.
No. Well, let's stick a tree down. Presumably I can dig them up again afterwards.
You'd imagine so.
So it's not like a resource management. So let's stick an oak tree down. Trees provide the tiles around them with shade. Oh. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
So whichever of our...
so I have a gold...
chrysanthemum wants some shade.
Grows best on grass, thrives in sunlight, which is odd because it's next to a tree. So you'd have thought that would shade it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I hit the wrong one. So yeah, what have I got so far? I've got orchid, grows best on mud, thrives in sunlight, grows well next to red aster. Okay, so I've got some mud over here. So what I probably need to do is to grow an orchid on some mud.
Yep.
Next to a red aster. Ah, that's interesting. I get the little thing pop up.
Yep.
So that's silver. Grows well. Well, how do I get it to be sunlight then? Is that because the clouds are next to it?
Maybe. Yeah. We don't currently have any mud that is not next to clouds. No. So we might have to wait and upgrade that later.
Chrysanthemum grows best on grass, thrives in a little shade, grows well next to red aster. All right.
Well, we have a tile that's next to red aster and in the shade.
That one, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. There we are. So let's have a look. Yeah, that's worked.
Perfect. We have unlocked heather.
So I've got some more things here. So presumably I need to... Oh, I can zoom in and out. I didn't realise that. So okay, so it looks like I need to get some more of those things, and then it will unlock more space, and that might enable me to do the goal.
Yeah,
for the
that makes sense.
Right. Heather grows best on sand, thrives in sunlight, grows well next to orchid.
Ah, is that sand and not mud then?
Ah, okay.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, could be. What do you think mud is? Have you got any mud?
Well, we've clearly got two terrain types, so we've either seen mud or sand, but not both.
Heather grows on sand, so I want heather. So if I get the heather and pop it there... Ah, there we go. Ah, so I've got some sand. I can't still see any mud.
Yeah. Well, try the spade then. Does spade turn grass into mud, maybe?
Ah, that's a good thought. No, I think it kills...
Presumably just unplant things.
Unplant, yeah. So we're one short on orchid. We've got honey mushroom. Grows best on grass, thrives in full shade. Grows well next to chrysanthemums.
So we've got full shade, little shade, and full sun, which possibly implies that there's a fall off, one tile away from a tree, 2 tiles away from a tree or something.
Or the number of trees around it, maybe?
Could be.
So if I put... Oh yeah, they are shading, look.
Yeah, okay.
So if I do that... So, what was the plant name again? Honey mushroom, actually. Grass, full shade next to chrysanthemum. So we want honey mushroom. Is that...
This will also be a good test of... Yeah, presumably that one. We'll learn whether diagonals count.
Oh yeah, good point. So let's see what it says. No.
If we put a chrysanthemum directly north of it, then that'll be on the diagonal. Yeah. And we'll find out whether that counts.
Ah, yes. Looks like it did.
It does count.
There you go. It does count.
Okay.
So my scroll, by the way, scrolls both the screen and the thing, which is... Alright. Thistle grows best on water, sunlight, next to heather. Okay. So we want thistle... That was a heather, wasn't it? So
I think it was heather, yeah.
So if I put the thistle there... And I want to put... Oh, have fun building the coziest garden, imagining it, go for gold. So if I put... oh no, is that heather? No.
That's thistle.
There you go. So put a heather there. So that gives me my thistle. Still haven't sorted out the orchid. Because we don't...
we've now discovered some mud though.
Ah, was there mud? Ah,
bottom of the screen, we've found our first bit of mud.
Alright, so orchids go down here. Do they? Orchid? Perhaps not. Won't click.
Oh, is that not placeable?
No, I can place one there. So yeah, if I click on orchid, yeah, it won't let me place on these.
Oh, weird, because the non-placeable tiles usually have red reticles around them.
Yeah.
So it's
maybe let's do the last one. So bellflower, we want grass, medium shade next to honey mushroom. So we want medium shade. It's probably there. That medium shade. There we go.
Yeah.
Can I now place it? I wonder if it was something to do with how far away it was from my existing garden. No, it won't be, because I could place it. Oh, I can't place it there. Ah, no, I can't place it down here.
Is it where the camera is? Just if you're too close to the UI, you might be clicking on invisible UI elements at the bottom instead.
Something like that, yeah. Because I can't click on any of these, but I can click on these.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Can you try tucking it in the top left corner? There's some more mud over there.
Let's try. So, which one was this? This is.
We wanted orchid on mud.
Ah, yes, there we go.
And then a red asked a friend for it.
There we go. So, we're there. So we've got everything is. Oh no, it's not. Blue wheat webcap, mud. Oh, not another mud one. Full shade, grows well next to bellflower. So, unless I might be able to put one down here, I guess. Ah, I can get one down there now. What does it say? Full shade next to bellflower.
Yeah.
So if I put bellflower there, and let's get some trees up. Has that made it go? No. Full shade. So I need more shade, but I don't think I can. Oh, they're probably count as next to it as well, though, don't they?
Probably.
Let's put some more up. There we go. It's gone. It's gone.
Lovely.
Let's give us another one. Amanita grows best on grass, thrives in full shade. So if I click on that, oh, there we go. We're getting there. I have at least a gold medal thistle and a gold medal. So so you can see that I'm slowly doing these.
Yep.
I'm getting there at the top. While I'm battling with this and trying to speak and think about plants at the same time, shall we start doing the presentation?
That makes sense. We've got graphics, audio, and information design to consider first.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
I think we're at least at the good level requires professional, complete, and effective. Beyond that, we would look for impactful, complete, effective, and appealing. I think we could probably be there. You've seen the visual bits, and I think I've been hearing some sound effects and things as we've gone through. It all seems pretty consistent and nice assets.
So I think the graphics of the look of it is fantastic. They've done a really nice job, and I think the sound is really good. It has a very appealing soundtrack. It has it has some audio effects that are appropriate. Presentation wise, they've really knocked it out of the park. I think maybe there's a couple of information points which are a bit sticky, but we're starting to get quite picky. So I
would say the information is complete. You're right that it could be slightly smoother by just having the tooltips and other ways of presenting it.
Yes.
But it's not like there's anything that they've failed to tell us.
No.
Maybe the level of shading is a little tricky to discern exactly how much shade it has, I think it's close enough for us to understand.
I think we ought to be clear that we're being very nitpicky, right? But if you were being absolutely nitpicky, yes, you'd say that the level of shading is not quite as clear as it could be. You would say that the when you get a new goal, it would be nice to actually tell people rather than having to go up and have a look and discover it up here. So some sort of pop-up with new goals. I think it could do with more information on this screen about your current goals and what you're trying to achieve. But I have to say, really great job. So what would an excellent be for presentation?
Yeah, so that's impactful, complete, effective, and appealing.
So I think it's definitely there. What would prizeworthy be?
To get prizeworthy, it needs to be memorable, complete, effective, appealing, with novel or especially creative elements.
mean, I would say it's on its way, wouldn't you?
Mm.
It's kind
Yeah,
of, I mean, it's not necessarily novel, but creative. Things like the clouds, the um, just the effectiveness of the isometric projection. I think the consistency of all of these tiles, the way it's put together.
yeah. I would say the elements themselves not particularly novel or creative, but the way they fit together kind of
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
The choice of how this map. I don't know if that's a static map. It might even be dynamically
yeah.
generated.
I did wonder that. So I reckon maybe halfway to prizeworthy. I think a
Yeah.
really nice looking game. Really good job. Right, I'm going to concentrate on my Amanita for a minute. Grows best on grass, thrives in full shade, grows well next to orchid. It's an interesting choice that they don't tell you which one of those is fulfilled.
Yes, I suppose.
I'm not suggesting that they should definitely do, but
Mm.
I just think it's interesting that they don't tell you. Ah, so now
Next
it's
to
got
is a
gold.
thing that we successfully can evaluate for ourselves. The full shade was a thing we weren't completely clear on whether we got full shade or partial shade or so on.
Yeah.
But
Have we got down here? We've got cornflowers. Let's go up there. So cornflower sand, medium shade, grows well next to. I'll probably need to put. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So maybe you have to put that there and put grows next to thistle. Did it say?
I didn't remember. Yeah, thistle sounds right.
Yeah. So it's also a little bit unfortunate you can't quite see around the trees. But
yeah, I suppose the camera is in a fixed location. We can't do an orbit or look at it from the side view or something.
So cornflower grows on sand. So it's sand, thistle, medium shade. So that cornflower is on sand. It's next to a thistle. Is it next to a thistle? I can't remember if it's next to a thistle or not.
To be fair, we could just create another one on a different bit of sand if we've forgotten what's behind. And we can also dig up the tree to see what's behind and then put the tree back.
That's true. Let's stick a... There we go. Did another one. So that's presumably... Oh, we're there. We've got all 30.
Bingo.
So this is what I wanted to see. I want to see what happens when you get to that point. So I've got all of my milestones.
Yeah.
Does it give me another... I don't think it's given me any more.
Yeah, I think we've exhausted all of the goals that have been scripted in.
So we've got to the end of the game, effectively. So I've grown my nice little garden.
We're into free play, free roam type.
Free play.
Build whatever you think looks nice.
Let's experiment with that a little bit while we go and talk about meaningful play.
Yeah. So we've got to talk about the mechanics, the controls, and bugs. Controls-wise, you point and click everywhere. Scroll wheel for zooming in and out and so on.
Yeah.
Straightforward but effective. Bugs, we haven't seen many. Maybe there was some places we thought we could click on but couldn't quite access. But broadly speaking, pretty bug-free. Mechanics-wise, should we go through what we've got here?
Yes, let's do that.
So you've got placing flowers. You've got the choice of which flowers / trees / decor you're placing. Yeah. You've got the choice of where you're placing them.
Yeah.
Doesn't so much matter when or not. You're not spending money on these things, so it's not like you have to get the first ones to get money to get the later ones.
So in terms of the mechanics, you've got all these rules, right? So we've got the type of material, the level of shade, proximity to other things, right? And I think they're all that, right? So I think if there was a criticism of the mechanics, you would say every single one of these is using the same 3 measures. So it might have been nice to have 4 or 5 things and then pick 3 of them rather than the same 3 every time. But as a proof of concept, I think it works very, very effectively.
Yeah.
And then my interactions are that I can look through here. I've got my encyclopedia of plants. I've got my quests, and then I can obviously dig up and I can place, and that's kind of where I am. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a decent set of mechanics really for this kind of game. Again, you could nitpick about what else might go well in here. But yeah, I think that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
there's plenty of scope to expand it, but we don't necessarily need that. Obviously, as a plants growing game, you could imagine, things start small and they get bigger over time. You're trying to place them in such a way that you place the stuff that grows slowly, and then later you place some other stuff.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you could imagine that you could expand this and do quite a lot,
Yeah,
actually.
it's got a lot of scope.
Yeah. But again, this is a proof of concept.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, very good. Okay, so for meaningful play, what would be a good?
So for that, we'd need an engaging game with multiple mechanics, smooth controls, reasonable complexity, may have very minor bugs. Beyond that, we want a fun game, complementary mechanics, intuitive controls, higher complexity, no bugs.
So we definitely not got any bugs, and I think the controls are pretty intuitive. I mean, the controls are, it's obviously point and click, but going through this and scrolling and all that. The scrolling on this and the fact that it's linked to the back is not ideal, but not really a problem. So really, I think it comes down to is there a higher complexity or not?
Yeah, high complexity, and is it fun? Are you enjoying playing with it?
Yeah, I did. When we were... So the free play is also quite fun.
Yeah.
Now, I'm doing a project down at Avebury, so I've made a little stone circle. It's just in my mind at the moment. But yeah, I mean, just creating your kind of your garden is quite nice as well. And they're very appealing to play with. And the section where I was actually playing the game, I think was also good to try and solve those kinds of puzzles. The only criticism I would have of the play, and again I'm being really nitpicky here, is there feels like there's a lack of connection between the goals you would have in free play and the goals you have in the puzzle. So if you look at what I've done over here in the free play, right, I've kind of created different areas. I've kind of I've started making a kind of a landscape garden basically, right? Whereas in the puzzle section, it's just a mess, right? Stuff's everywhere, because all I cared about was the criteria that I was being set down.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose you could argue, well, how would you combine those two? Maybe if I'd started with a garden, right? And then what I was trying was not, I would then have in my mind that I don't want to mess up the way the garden looks, even though I can, right? So just starting with something might be a good place to do it. But ideally, we might have the aesthetics of the garden linked to some of the criteria in some way. But like I said, we're getting quite advanced, right?
I think it's hard. I think really what it says is the goals that they've given us are good demonstrations of how the mechanics work, requiring things interacting with other things. In a expanded version of this game, which I would very much like to see, you could have all sorts of things like you've put mushroom inside a stone circle. That'd be really hard to actually evaluate, but if you could come up with some very interesting and strange goals like that, then you'd have a lot more.
Or just say you want a field, or you want a copse of trees, or these kind of features, sort of macro features, and then I think you'd start to link the two together. But anyway, in terms, it's definitely fun. I would say it's probably easily hits the excellent level.
Above that,
and I think probably what we're describing is why it's not quite in the prizeworthy category. But really very good.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So now we're on to kind of level design, goals, risks, and rewards. So this is kind of where it's going to get interesting the next few sections, I think. So what do you think? Well, let's go through them. We've got goals, risks, and rewards. So our goal is to try and meet the they're literally called goals, right? We've got to get the medals. We've got to hit our milestones. This is the goals are a little bit confused, right? Because I've essentially got a list of goals here, which is to turn all of these gold.
Yeah.
Right, and then I've got the same things written here, but in a slightly different way, and with a thing across the top. I think you could have got rid of this completely, and on this page you could have just had it how many medals you had across the top, right? And you'd get the same stuff in a much easier, cleaner
I
way.
certainly think for this small prototype, the goal really is just turn this one gold, turn this one gold, turn this one gold.
Yeah. There we go.
It is true that the other page links the progression. Like, you don't get access to some of the fancy flowers until you've specifically done some of the simpler missions.
But that's essentially just opening up gold coins, right? So it just means that when you've got 3 gold coins or 4 gold coins or 5 gold coins. So I think that the goals are mostly clear, but there's a little bit of ambiguity there. What about risks and rewards? What would you say the risks and rewards are here?
This is kind of the problematic bit, right? Because at the start of the game, we had a very compact layout. There was some risk reward in the sense that if you were really inefficient about how you went about doing these goals, you might run out of space.
Yeah.
And there was some sense that if you were playing very strategically, you'd manage to complete several objectives using a very compact garden. And then as you got more space, you had more scope to do other bits and pieces. I like the fact that by the time you get to this end game, you've got loads of space so you can build whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I do feel like through most of the progression, there really hasn't been much constraints. So there was so much space you could do everything really easily. There was no real risk.
Yeah. Yes. I kind of... Yeah.
It's true that the vibes they're going for kind of don't really want to have risks in it, but risks are on the mark scheme for a reason. We want to see games that can implement some of those.
Yeah, so really the kind of lack of constraints is perhaps a bit problematic. And what about the rewards? So you obviously get rewarded by as you complete the goals, but are there other types of rewards for kind of...
Well, I think they're aiming for a kind of intrinsic reward of, I like the look of this garden, right? You know, you build something that you like. It's not rewarded directly by the game system. So I think I'm kind of separating this free roam mode in the sense that the rewards are whatever you make of them, and really the gameplay aspect has separate rewards, which are complete these goals.
Yeah.
And so I think the thing is that because there aren't enough constraints while you're doing the puzzly bit of it, those risk rewards are weak. And by the time you get to the end game, this end game is a thing that doesn't set itself up very well to do specifically risk reward kind of gameplay.
Yes. Yeah. So I think I completely agree with you. I think that there's an issue. I think that the goals are sort of fine, right? They work well. I would say the goals are definitely clear and kind of coherent. The risks and rewards is much more problematic because there's not enough constraint to make me think, oh, I could go here, but if I did this instead, right? There's no kind of interplay like that, right?
Yeah. And one thing you might add on there or something is these interactions are all happy interactions. This flower likes to be like next to this flower, you know, and so on. There's not many negative interactions that go, oh, these two flowers don't like being next to each other, which creates constraints. It is true that because of the trees casting shade, you've got a few bits of, if you put a tree here, it might make a flower sad.
Yes.
But it's less puzzly because there's few constraints here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, if we look at the criteria, what would be a sort of satisfactory?
So that would say a coherent set of goals, risk, rewards.
So I think if we separate out the goals, because I think the goals are probably up at the good level, right? It's very clear what you need to do. So do we have a coherent set of risks and rewards, or I guess a pass would be a limited set?
Yeah.
And my kind of feeling is that the risks and rewards are more at the limited.
I would agree with that.
So maybe, so overall, we maybe, if we were being generous, we would say satisfactory.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm. Is there a way of restarting this? I don't particularly want to destroy my garden, but I kind of feel like
you use the spade and slowly change things.
Yes.
Or you kill the game and start from scratch again. You'll see all the tutorial tooltips and things.
That's right. I'll carry on building my garden, building it up over time. It's fine.
Yeah.
I like the fact they put a decor in. I think that's really nice. Just as a completely aesthetic piece.
Yeah, that seems good. If there were more parts to the puzzle, you could imagine incorporating some of the decor objects
Yeah.
there. One thing that's quite nice about the trees is the puzzle introduces them to you and expects you to use trees, but doesn't tell you which trees you need to use.
No.
And so you get that
You get that
creative freedom to decide which kind of trees you'd like to do the job with.
Yeah.
I don't know whether, for example, those poplar trees cast different shadows to the oak trees or whatever based on their shape.
No, not clear. But yeah.
Yeah.
Should
we talk about pacing then?
Yes.
Because it feels like you're near the end of the game, and that implies something about pacing.
Yeah. So pacing's kind of interesting. So what we're looking for with pacing is a kind of a tension, or the kind of the difficulty or challenge or the drama of the game rises over time, probably in a coherent way. So I would say it definitely rises because they're adding more and more stuff and you're getting more and more complexity.
And more space, I would say, is key to this.
And more and more space. I think if there's a challenge, it's that there's perhaps not enough interaction between those elements, right? So it's almost like I get a sequence of small puzzles which I have to solve, but they're all completely individual. So what I mean by that is I could have planted some stuff over on one side to solve the one, and then planted another bunch of stuff over here to solve another. So maybe this comes back to the risks and rewards. Maybe the problem here is that because I can plant anything and I don't have a limited number, there's no risk of placing things down. But it means that although the pacing does increase because I get new challenges, it's flatter perhaps than they intended, because each of those new challenges is essentially like the last challenge and it doesn't build. Does that make sense?
I describe it as more of the same.
More of the same, yeah. It's the same challenge over and over again. And there's
in particular, you pointed out a lot of the challenges can be accomplished in very small areas, right? Put this one thing next to this one thing.
Yes.
And so, as you say, you've got loads of space to do that wherever you like.
Yeah.
If some of the challenges were, build a forest, you need at least 10 trees all next to each other.
Yes.
You're pushing the constraints harder on.
And then the next one would be that I have to put some plants down, and I might actually have to dig up some of my forest to put the plant down, and then rebuild the forest to get my thing again. And that's what I mean about the interactions between them. So if we think about pacing, a satisfactory would be that it clearly rises over time, and a good would be that it rises over time in a coherent pattern. And I'd probably say it's at the satisfactory level.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe there's halfway between, but I think for the reasons we've said, the thing gets bigger, but actually the tension doesn't necessarily go along with that quite as strongly.
No. Okay. So what does that take us to next?
Tutorial next.
So the tutorial, I think, is really nice in terms of taking you through actually maybe this is a good reason to restart the game. So let's I don't think I've got restart buttons. Let's just kill it and I'll reload it and we can have a look at the tutorial. Okay, so here we go again. So if we think about the tutorial, when I come in, so we've got this kind of nice dialogue that pops up, and then it makes me go through the process of putting plants down, and it introduces the qualities. I mean, there's quite a lot of complex stuff to take us through.
It's notable that at no point in the first playthrough did we go, that doesn't make any sense.
No. So, and like here, for example, I've got to place the orchid. So it's handheld me up to this point, but then I've got to put the orchid down. So it kind of hands over to me. So I think it does a really nice job of hand holding you through the game effectively. And so it explains the milestones here. It also is nice and thematic. The tone of that voice fits the style of the game as well, which is really nice.
The fact that they've got grayed out items is implicitly telling you will have access to this later.
Oh, we can place trees. Perhaps this is a bug. I don't think I can place trees.
I think something like the assets load when you click on the tab, except when the tutorial is there, it doesn't load or something.
Right.
We might have to restart this and load the trees before the tutorial
okay.
tells us to.
Okay, let's do that.
I don't know if it does the same with the decor objects or not, but
So
I think
we've
we
got
saw in the expo.
so basically, if as long as I follow the tutorial, we're good. But if I go off piste, it might not load the assets properly.
I think it was the other way around. I think you need to preload the trees tab before it invites you to, because whilst the tutorial is on the screen, it is doing tutorial things and not doing asset loading or something strange like that.
So I have to click on all of these, basically.
Yeah. Now that they've all been loaded, hopefully the tutorial successfully picks them up like in the first playthrough.
Okay, so yeah, I love plants. I place trees. Yay! There we go. You're right. Okay. All right. So a little bug, but not too damaging. So So let's go back to the tutorial. So I think again, I mean, a good would be a gradual explanation of gameplay and controls aligned with play, and I think it's definitely there. What would be an excellent?
Yeah, we would need the gradual explanation of gameplay and controls fully aligned with play and sometimes communicated through level design. Level design, of course, maybe not the right term for this specific game because we're not doing multiple distinct levels. But it is true that as the map gets bigger, we see new terrains.
That's
and
true.
Things.
Yeah, I would say maybe it's halfway there because of that. It introduces us these new elements.
I would say we did get confused about the terrain types because the first thing we get offered is a thing that's happy on mud. We see a terrain that could plausibly be mud and isn't.
Yes.
And then only when we're at the largest scale do we actually find any mud.
Yeah.
But would have liked to swap the order of whichever one is happy on sand, whichever one's happy on mud.
Yeah, that's a good point. But okay, so I think a tutorial then is sort of halfway between good and excellent for that reason. But yeah, it does a very nice job of holding your hand through. That takes us to core dynamic. And as we said, I was kind of expecting a resource management type game, but it's clearly sort of a puzzle game, and then leading into sort of free play. So what did they say that they'd gone for their?
So this is where there's an interesting discussion. It's been had in the lab, and we'll have it here again. They say their core dynamic is the designing a garden (brackets building), and then secondary dynamic, spatial reasoning, which is the puzzly bit.
Yeah.
They definitely want to emphasise the free play bit at the end is really the majority of the experience here, and the puzzly bit, I think, is a very important part that supports that. But you might even say, actually, the puzzly bit is the core of the game, and the free play bit is more the icing on the cake afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary of the things going on here. Is that so? Essentially, what you have really is two halves of this game that both have their own core dynamic, right? So you clearly have this first bit that's just a puzzle game, and then the last bit, which is the free play bit, is more of a building game, right? Although because there's no resource management, the game bit is kind of perhaps a bit more limited. And this goes back to what I said about the connection between the two. So what you would want to have is you would want to say this is either a building game which is supported by the puzzle dynamic, or it's a puzzle game which is supported by the building dynamic. And the way that we talked about the game earlier on, about saying it would be nice if some of your puzzle elements were sort of more macro things, like build a field, or build a stone circle, or build a copse of trees, or build an avenue of poplars or something, right? If that was the case, then the building would be supporting the puzzle, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you're building a beautiful garden and solving a puzzle as you go, right? And that would be a really lovely thing to try and achieve. Quite hard, but lovely. And I suppose you could go the other way round, right? So you could say, well, maybe if the plants died or they didn't survive properly, right, then actually in the free play mode, that would then be supported by the puzzle. Because if you want your garden to look nice in the way you want it, you have to think about how it's designed in order to make it work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But without either of those connections, you cannot then push one or the other. So I think kind of the challenge here isn't really that they've got it mixed up, because it's just two games. So normally when people get the wrong core dynamic, it kind of wrecks the game. But here it doesn't wreck the game because we move from the puzzle to the building, and it's fine. However, I think we have to say that the way we assess it has to reflect the fact that confusion, right? So a pass would be no attempt at a core dynamic, and I think that's not right. So a satisfactory would be a clear core dynamic that's partially supported by the primary mechanics. And a good would be a clear core dynamic that is supported by the primary mechanics. So I think that the issue is that they... Yeah, so the issue is they don't have a clear core dynamic because they have two dynamics.
Yeah. So I guess
each of them is supported by the primary mechanics.
Yeah, it's maybe worth saying from the way that it progressed in the labs. Essentially, the team wanted to just do the cozy building bit, and we pointed out to them that game doesn't hit a lot of the criteria for the mark scheme. You need to think about how you're doing risk reward and some of these other things, pacing included. And so there's a sense in which they've developed two games, the one that we said that they would need to do in order to hit the mark scheme criteria, and the one that they wanted to do, and kind of given us both. But it is true that because they have split their attention in that way, it's not completely hitting the mark scheme on the core dynamic. It's kind of impressive that they successfully delivered both the experience that they wanted to pitch that wasn't what matched the mark scheme, and also delivered an experience that does hit mark scheme criteria.
Yeah, I agree. So there's a lot of stuff here. I mean, so in terms of the mark scheme, we may be in the sort of satisfactory space because we don't have a clear core dynamic, but the two dynamics that we do are both fairly well supported by the primary mechanics.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that one half is a pass and one half is a good. So we probably should settle somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And that takes us to feedback. So what was the feedback that they got?
Yeah. So two key bits of feedback. The first one we've kind of just alluded to, which was they originally designed the game to have no progression or puzzle mechanics at all. The game was a pure sandbox. So the feedback there is doesn't hit the mark scheme criteria. It's more like a toy than a game. And therefore, we need to see some of these puzzly aspects coming in to fulfill parts of the marks criteria. And so they have figured out the whole plant quality system and quests and interaction between those.
I have to say that's quite an impressive response.
Yeah.
That's quite impressive that they put all of that in as a response to that feedback. Yeah, okay. What else? Is there anything else that they talked about?
The second bit about the gameplay loop, they were advised to add multiple aspects of progression that the player could work towards, make sure that there were several milestones and quests and things that could be worked on. What else? To show how far through completion the player had got against the puzzle aspect. So I think there's sort of two ways of saying pretty similar things there, but it's one very important and big piece of feedback.
Yeah. So I mean, a good would be that the feedback's been addressed and the changes have been successful. You could make an argument that they've still got the discontinuity with the second bit of the game, but actually I think that would be a bit unfair because I think the first part of the game they've clearly solved that problem, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would also say that the feedback has been interpreted and addressed. They've definitely interpreted, they've added all of that puzzle element themselves based on that feedback. So that would put it at the excellent level. The question is, has it been imaginatively addressed? I mean, there are elements of that are. I'm quite impressed with how they managed to take it. Perhaps because they haven't managed to take it through the whole game, and they haven't managed to link it together, it would sit still at the excellent level.
I would agree with that. There's, the scope for it to become really praiseworthy in the way that it's been implemented. We're not quite there.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's still very commendable to be up at that excellent level.
Yeah. We are making very small complaints about an excellent piece of work. So, okay. I mean, final thoughts on this game?
Yeah, well, I mean, it tells you something that we've been going, 45 minutes, 50 minutes or something on one game. We're, actively engaged and interested in this game in particular. So we've had a really good time with this, and it's been impressive both to see the piece of work these students have turned in, and actually it's given us some very interesting things to talk about the interaction between the mark scheme and so on.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a really lovely piece of work. Like you said, it already is good. And it clearly could be the foundation for something that was really, really interesting. So well done, really, really nice job. Okay, shall we move on to our next game? So our next one is called Cat Game. There we go. Cat Game. There we go. Nice simple menu. I've got some music going. I've got a menu system that responds to hover, so that's always good. Start levels help skins. It's exciting.
Yeah, okay.
I was tempted to press the come back once you collected all the stars. All right, intriguing. So levels presumably lets me choose what they're grayed out to start with.
We do actually have to unlock them. We can't choose.
Help. So I'm hoping this isn't the only tutorial element, but at least it gives me the basics. So WAS to move, space to meow, escape to pause. The darkness is dangerous, don't get too close. The statues can light a path for you. Manipulate the lights to make a path out of the room and collect stars for extra points. Okay, so a little bit of an info dump, but let's see how we get on. Welcome. I'm sure you're wondering how you ended up as a cat stuck in a basement. Right now, let's try to find a way out. Darkness in this place is dangerous, so careful not to get too close. Luckily, some ancient statues down here. Maybe the meow of a friendly cat will wake them up and light up a path. All right, okay. So it was WAS to move. Oh, it says in the top corner, actually. Yeah. And space to meow. All right, so maybe the help thing was there just to... Oh, no, you stepped into the darkness, you lose. Okay. Oh, I have to light this one up, presumably. Oh, okay.
Okay, yep.
Okay, you completed level 1. Right, my second attempt. That doesn't bode very well. Wow, that was scary. It seems the next room you find yourself in has a pressure plate. Maybe standing in it can help you escape. If you're feeling stuck, look for arrows. They might help you figure out how to escape. Okay, so this is good. So I'm getting some stuff here. So I've got my space I can go in. I've got a pressure plate. I can activate that, so I can...
Makes it possible to get a star.
Yep. And then the pressure plate... Okay, that toggles that. And then I've got... Oh.
One thing about these shadows is, although they're very nice, they don't have hard edges, so you do have to be very careful to skirt around, am I in danger here or not?
Yeah, so I'm supposed to go through this bit, presumably. And then I've got 2 arrows.
So there used to be a red lit up one, and the red one's gone. So I think you've successfully done something red. You've got something blue left to do somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a blue thing in the bottom right corner. So I don't know if you meow at that and turn it on.
What, over here?
Yeah.
No, I think that's... There's a statue at the top. Did I do that one? I can't remember.
I don't think we have. So that one might be the blue one.
Ah, there we go.
Right, okay.
Blue. But what? I don't understand why one arrow's... So the arrow thing is confusing me, I'll be honest. But let's go. I got there. Okay, next level. You're making good progress. Hopefully you'll be out of here soon. It seems like there's a new object in this room. I wonder how it interacts with the light. Okay. Collect the stars. Okay. The other thing is I'm a grey cat on a grey floor. Sort of.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been aware. I've been looking back and forth between the mark scheme and their feedback document, and then looking back at the game, and every time I can't find the cat.
Okay. Oh, is this the same? What does that do, do you think? Okay. So that kind of casts a shadow. All right. Okay. So do I know which way that's going to go?
So it seems to always turn the beam 90 degrees. I don't know if it's always 90 degrees clockwise or
Oh.
whether it's...
So that's annoying. So it kind of... I had the star, but it exited before I wanted to. But making good progress. If you get stuck on the next floor, think about going. Yeah, help you escape. All right. Okay, so I've got... That's a new thing, isn't it? Freeze.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen ice before.
No idea what it does. It's a timer.
It's doing something to a statue. Presumably it's freezing the statue in some manner.
No, it still turns even when the freezing thing's on.
So it looks like the red one's turning and the green one isn't. Yeah.
Oh, they're all turning, aren't they? Yeah, they're all turning.
So now all of them were turning. When the green one was frozen, it wasn't turning anymore. So now you're just turning red-blue.
Right, okay. So if I go and get this one, and then I get that one. So you reckon... But why would I... I don't know why. Why would I need to freeze it, though?
So I think there's three things we've got here. We've got the green one freeze that you've seen, and then in the bottom there's also a blue one freeze and a red one freeze.
Yeah.
The thing that I'd seen in the lab, and I don't know, it looks like you haven't picked this up, is that in order to get out, you need all of the lights pointing at the exit, right? Currently the red one is in the... You haven't successfully done the red one
I see.
mode.
Yeah, no, at no point I don't think they explain that to me. So that's obviously what the arrows mean then.
Yeah.
So, okay. Right, and the problem being if I do that...
You've lost the blue one. So you need somehow for the red one to turn and not the blue one, or vice versa.
Right. But then... Okay. Oh, and that creates yellow. I can't...
Yeah.
Give me a... Meh. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so it's currently saying the blue one is missing.
Alright.
So you're going to either need to freeze the blue one and turn the red one, or freeze the red one and turn the blue one.
Because I've got the other... I can't get to the blue one.
So now you can.
So now I can. Oops.
So you have to be somewhat quick about freeze the blue one, get back to the pressure plate, press it. This gives you them both pointing where you want them.
But I also need to freeze the green one. Oh, I see. The freeze is above the thing. I didn't realise that.
Right,
so the freeze is above the light. So now I've frozen those two. And I come back here, and then we get that, and then we're done. Right.
It's not clear to me whether you actually need just blue and red for this one, or all three.
I still can't get out.
Does this imply it must be red and blue, but not green? You need to specifically move the green one off.
Oh. How do I know? Oh, is it red and blue? Is that what that means?
Yeah, so those arrows say we definitely need red and we definitely need blue. It doesn't actually tell us whether we need green or not, and I think we just discovered that putting all three was a failure, so we need specifically red and blue and nothing else, none of the things that aren't specified.
Alright, well let's collect that then. So if we do that one, and what does that freeze? Oh, that freezes that one. So I want to freeze the blue one, which is... Oh, I've just frozen that one. That's no good. Right, okay, right. I think I'm getting this now. Yeah, I think I could have done with some... I think the arrows... So not having the arrows is kind of... hang on, so what do I need? I need red and blue, but not green.
Yeah,
so I want
you want red and green to turn, but not blue.
Freeze
yeah, so
that one.
Freeze blue, and then one standing will hopefully get everything the way you want.
Oh,
so yeah, I think it's done now, right? You've got the red and the blue.
Yeah, so I can get out. There we go. Right, okay. Now we know what we're doing. Whoever's in charge here doesn't want you. Oh, that's the last thing I need. Gonna have to escape again, but it might be a little trickier this time. Okay. But they're not chasing me, they're just going up and down. Alright. I've still got the same layout, haven't I?
Yeah, I think all of the rooms are the same room, they just have different furniture in them.
So, I've got the blue, I've got the red. Okay. So I want the blue, I want to get the green off. Well, that's... Oh. Okay, so that's the problem. I've got a timing element now. Huh. All right. So I have to wait here for the ghost to go, so I don't have to. I could just go around the top, I suppose. Oh, clear off. Oh, I stepped into darkness. Did I though?
That's the thing about the hard edges, right? When you're
Sure
in
I
this sort of
did.
ambiguous zone, it is a thing that we often point out, is that if you have anything ambiguous like that, always make it favourable to the player. Because if the player goes, oh, I thought I might have been in the darkness, but it let me live, the player is totally happy.
Yeah.
And if the player goes, I'm pretty sure I was in the light there, but...
Yeah. I think the other thing that's going on is that I love that the idea of the colours is really nice. I think it's a really clean idea, and that kind of it. But the problem is that there are other elements in the level which are colour coded, like the arrows and like the blocks. So, for example, it's now quite hard to see which colour is what, right? So that one is that this is blue, I presume.
Yeah.
But then what's the one over on the right there, and what's that one there? Because this one here is now a sort of, I don't know what you'd call it really, turquoise.
It's a slight green tint. Yeah.
It's turquoise. So is that blue or is it green? And one down the bottom is pink. So is that? I presume that's red. I don't know. But perhaps it isn't.
I certainly agree that these colours, particularly of the which freeze thing attaches to which freeze thing, are not quite clear enough, especially where the red light shines on top of the blue thing, and then you get this purple one.
Should we? Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I'm very briefly going to say, obviously not a game that suits anyone with colourblindness. But
No. So let's go through the. Should we go through the criteria? See where we've got to.
We'll start with graphics, audio, and information design.
So yeah, I mean it's all here, right? It's all going on. Does the ghost have a sort of trailing darkness, do you think?
I think it does. So I think if you get near the ghost, it's also dark.
That's why I'm getting confused, because I think I'm diving around the ghost, but I'm clearly not.
And it's another one of these fuzzy barriers where you don't know how close to a ghost you can get.
Yeah. Oh, did it again. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's starting to get a bit annoying now. That whole kind of. I'm managing to avoid I'm managing to avoid the edges, okay, but I'm struggling to avoid the ghosts. Maybe the trailing darkness is really big or something.
Since we're talking about information design, I was going to say perhaps that if instead of dying immediately in the darkness, your sprite started flashing, or if you're in the darkness for any amount of time you died, then it would give you just enough nudge to go, oh, I was in fact close to a ghost, I'll take a step back.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So, presentation.
Do we think it's workable, effective, but some inconsistencies, or do we think it's professional, complete, and effective, or above that?
I think it's probably complete and effective. We've got kind of the graphics are all consistent. I've got music. I've got some sound effects. It's all quite appealing. Even like the sides where I've got the bricks at the sides of the level. Yeah, I think they've done a nice job.
So the difference between a good and an excellent going up then is the addition of complete, effective, and appealing. You said it was appealing. Is it appealing enough for an excellent? So we're also talking about the information design. Yeah.
And I think kind of maybe the cues between the colours is just a little bit confusing. So that might be a little bit of a mark against it. And also there's like a slightly inconsistent size between some of the levels. But I mean, I think it's so maybe halfway between the two, because I do really like it. I think it looks nice.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Better than a good, not quite to the excellent
level. Not quite up to the excellent level. So here we've got. So I should be able to leave now, right? Because I've got the red and the blue. Okay.
You don't have the red.
I don't have the red. Oh, no, of course I don't. Honestly. Right. So I do that. Now I have that. Okay. But the other thing I was going to say is that this doesn't tell me what it changes either. So
I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah.
So in the other games I've played, it changed all 3, and here it only changes 2. But okay.
A lot of games like this will have like a little wire or line or something drawn from the pressure pad to whatever it's going to affect.
Yeah.
So you can figure out this button is connected to these things.
Yeah. They didn't seem to do too much with this either. This sort of appeared as an element.
The side goal of that mini collection, I was kind of expecting to see, prism goes into prism into some sort of slightly complicated snake route, and a hard level is built around this idea that you need to decide which of the prisms you're going to point at, and then something else.
But all right, we'll get to that when we get to the level design stuff, I suppose.
Yeah.
So let's talk about play. I think it's definitely engaging. You can definitely. I am playing it. So, but what would be a good?
Engaging with multiple mechanics, smooth controls, and reasonable complexity may have minor bugs.
So it's definitely there. What
Excellent is for fun, complementary mechanics, intuitive controls, and higher complexity with no bugs.
I would say it's missing out on the intuitive bit. Right?
Yeah.
There's something about it that kind of just makes, as a puzzle, it feels kind of a bit sticky. Maybe there's not enough cues about what you need to do or about what the different elements do.
For me, some of it is intuitive. Like currently, the fact that the blue arrow is lit up and the red one isn't, I can understand why those things are happening. The one that wasn't intuitive for me was when you point the green one at the door, you don't get any feedback about whether or not that's allowed or not allowed. The only way we discovered that you need red and blue but not green here, this doesn't let you out. We had to fail the level before we had discovered that.
So that one, I just did that one. Oh, that's red. See, that's the problem. It doesn't look red, does it?
No, now it looks green
because it's got the green light on it. That's what I mean, really. So I think it's definitely at the definitely the good level. What was excellent again for play?
Fun. So complementary mechanics, intuitive controls, higher complexity.
Yeah, I don't think it quite gets there, but I'm happy to say it's at the good level. I think there's definitely a game here.
Yep, absolutely.
Which one's the good?
Next, then we look at goals, risks, rewards. How do you feel about the goal? Because I would say the goal is mostly clear, except with some slight wrinkles that we've just talked about in the play.
Yeah, I think the goal. Now I know the rules. The goal could be better explained. I think it's not quite as clear, but once you know what it is, it's not really muddied, right? It's clear what you've got to do. It's not like
I guess that comes to tutorial more than the goals itself.
Yeah, I think so. It's not like there's competing goals or kind of things are in tension or anything. So I think that's okay. Risks and rewards. So they've got the star system, which is a pretty fail-safe way of putting in sort of rewards, I suppose. So I can. Yeah. I'm not sure if the level design emphasizes that though. It
certainly feels like they're there, and
I could just
the placement of the stars. Most of them you seem to just be able to get kind of trivially.
Yes.
There's somewhere you did something clever and extra, and you got a star for it. But I would say that really the point of the stars would be that they are all something that you do clever and extra, and you get a star for it.
Yes. So I see. I've got no idea now if that's right. I don't know what I need to do to. Is that red and blue? But not green.
Yeah, you need red and blue, and you need to not have green.
But not green. And where's the green one? Because the green one's over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that with the risk rewards, they've tried to put that mechanism with the stars, but because you can just pick up the stars, it doesn't work. Right.
Yeah. Some of the stars work, and some of them don't.
So I think the mechanics are there to support risk and rewards, but the level design doesn't use them for risk and rewards. Yeah. So if we talk about the overall thing, I would say that we've got a kind of a mostly clear set of goals, and then we've got kind of maybe a limited set of risks and rewards, or maybe it's slightly better than that. So
I
maybe,
think better than limited.
but so maybe overall we should say this is sort of the satisfactory level.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a mixture between the two. Okay, let's talk about the pacing. So we've got 5 different levels. They start off. Level 1 is really just a move around and turn stuff on level. So we introduce the pads. I almost don't understand what's the point of turning these on either. Like, why aren't they just on to start with? Anyway, so so here I suppose you could argue that like I've got to make an effort to go and get the star, but it's not really a risk, I suppose. Kind of partly because I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, pacing. So I think the levels definitely get more complex and they build up over time. And the last one is definitely more challenging with the ghosts. I'm not sure about, given that it's a puzzle game, the kind of mechanical aspect of the moving ghosts feels a little bit strange as a differentiator. And then this one here kind of appears and then never appears again. So I'd say those are things that kind of spoil the pacing a little bit. But overall, it's got a pretty clear rising pacing, I would say. So
I think it's got nice for the pacing that it is the same room every time, and a lot of the same aspects. You know, that red light is always in the same position. It still points in the same directions. So it's more like each of the early levels is solving a part of the big level, which is, explicitly about increasing pacing.
Yeah. So I would say it's probably at the good level, right? It's kind of tension rises over time in a coherent pattern. But the things we talked about stop it being kind of well balanced. It feels like a little bit uneven the way it progresses.
Yeah, I would agree.
So what about the tutorial itself? We've got a little info thing before each level, and then the level introduces us that element, and makes us use that element to progress. So it's not particularly sophisticated, I guess, but it is doing exactly what we asked, which was to have a gradual explanation of gameplay and controls aligned with play. So that's I think they're definitely doing that. So that's at the good level. What would be an excellent for tutorial?
A gradual explanation of gameplay and controls, fully aligned with play and sometimes communicated through level design.
So, do we ever learn what the things do through level design? They introduce things like the block that reflects, right? But then we don't see what it does until we use it. So there's a little bit of that, right?
Yeah, the default direction that the statues are facing and things is some amount of telling you stuff the way it's designed.
There's still someone I still can't figure out, because one of those arrows is blue and the other one is white. So I have no idea which one I've got to.
It's interesting that you're struggling with the colours of those lights in the bottom. I can see that the left one is a red arrow and the right one is a blue arrow.
Right.
But I did mention the colourblind accessibility thing in passing. It might legitimately be the case that different people just have an easier or harder time figuring out what colour these are.
Yeah. I suppose I can see the red glow. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, where were we? Still on tutorial, or we've done that?
So we were deciding between good and excellent. Do we have the communicated through level design on the tutorial?
So it feels like there's a few bits where they've tried to do that, but perhaps it hasn't gone quite as far as it could have done. And they're maybe relying a little bit too much on the text. So maybe halfway between the two.
I was going to say halfway.
Yeah. So that takes us on to core dynamic.
Yep. Well, what do you think the core dynamic is?
Well, I mean, it's a puzzle.
In their game notes, they say spatial reasoning, spatial puzzle.
So where's the green? Oh, that's the green one over there. So if I freeze the green one, I should be able to do that. There we go. Right. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. There's a collection dynamic going on, but it's in service to the puzzle. As I said, I'm not sure the level design kind of makes it as effective as it could be. But it is
the dynamics.
But it is
the dynamic is supporting.
Yeah. So I would say actually for core dynamic they've done a pretty good job. So
at the good level,
yeah.
It would be a clear core dynamic supported by primary mechanics, and at the excellent level, it would be supported by an integrated set of mechanics. I don't know if we have enough for integrated set.
Yeah, I think we're definitely at the good level. Yeah. And yeah, I agree with you. I think the mechanics are perhaps not quite as well as integrated. So we've got the ghosts that feel a little out of place. Kind of sort of makes sense, but and we've got the reflectors that are kind of appeared and didn't appear again, and they don't seem to interact with one another, right?
Yeah.
And there's
I think a better set of integrated mechanics would be reflectors that only reflect one color of light or something, right? Rather than ghosts.
Or the fact. So there's some oddities going on here. Like, so I've got the red light is shining on the blue one, right? But if that changed the actual nature of that switch because it now had red light on it, for example.
Yeah.
So there's various things that they could be doing. So I think the core dynamic is probably at the good level. They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And that takes us on to their feedback.
Yeah. So for their feedback, note to people writing feedback here, you've given me in the first week we worked on these things and then we changed our mind and then a bit later we worked on this and this and this and this, and it's really hard to read. They started with their idea was vague and they refined it. They wanted to lock in on a specific kind of core game mechanic, so they decided on spatial reasoning instead of survival or something else.
Yeah.
Let's see. Second bit of feedback was try and get the pacing right and get the difficulty aligned. So they said the second level was too much of a jump in difficulty. What did they do to affect it? So they focused on the tutorial, but they didn't say, they redesigned the second level into 2 levels, so the 2 mechanics from level 2 and level 3 were previously bundled together.
Right, okay. I'm not quite clear what they're trying to say there. So they had...
Yeah. So I think it's 2 simple pieces of feedback. The first one was make sure your game has a strong core dynamic. And the second one was make sure that it has a clear tutorial, which are the 2 main parts of the mark scheme.
Yeah, I mean that's not particularly useful to tell us about, right? If you're being told, just follow the brief.
So I think it's really good to say those are the things that we thought about and that we put our work into. What we need to see here is what you did about it. If it is a spatial reasoning game, what changes did you make that made it a spatial reasoning game?
Yeah.
Or correspondingly, what did you do to make sure it wasn't a survival game?
Yes. So I think it's always a danger if they start telling us a bit of a story about their ideas and how their ideas developed, as opposed to saying, we presented this thing and then we were told that this was a problem and then this is how we changed it to fix that problem. Okay, so I mean a pass would be feedback was addressed but the changes have had limited success.
We might be there in particular things like trying to avoid it being a survival game, and the ghosts added at the end, which would be more of a survival mechanic than a spatial puzzle.
Yeah.
I think it's not. I think there definitely has been successful changes.
Yeah.
I don't think we've necessarily had the interpreted and addressed that would be all the way up at excellent.
Yes.
Do we think it's fully successful or somewhat successful? Really, is the differentiating.
I think probably somewhat successful. So that puts it at the satisfactory level.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Did you notice the skin, by the way? I didn't. It seems to have disappeared.
Oh, I haven't spotted. Does that change now?
Yeah, so I don't know whether I can I go back to the menu? Menu.
You were slightly purpley.
So I've got white and rainbow. So if I hit rainbow, then my cat changes colours. There you go.
I mean, that's very nice.
But it's also confusing given that the puzzle is all about colours.
I was thinking, this feels like it might be the core dynamic of a different game where you
have to change colour to
interact with the lights.
Yeah, exactly. You change. When you're a red cat, you can move through red lights without being detected or something.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're there. So, what final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's nice. I think there was a few bits of the tutorial that it took us a couple of goes at to try and understand what they were saying.
Yes.
But partly that's on their tutorial, and partly that's on us splitting our attention with the mark scheme and so on. But
yeah, I think so. I think they've done a good job, and I think the core idea is nice. I think where it's gone into problems is because they're using colour for the puzzles. To use colour for information and that's not part of the puzzles feels a bit strange, and just some ambiguity. They've forgotten to explain a few kind of core things, but actually, as I said, very very playable. Like, you drop me into that last level, and I was having to sit there and think about, this is how you do it and how you unlock it and everything. So yeah, good job, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, shall we move on to our next game? Okay, so the next game we have is called Cat Fighter. So clearly a cat theme going on in this video.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I recognise this tile set from previous years.
Yeah, it's a nice, graphically appealing visual language. The fonts match up with it, and so on.
So, WAS to move to the altar. Oh, hang on. There we go. Sorry, didn't have it in the. So, WAS to move to the altar. There we go. Right, so I kind of move around. Yeah. So, you actually managed to get the kind of pseudo 3D working quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Including the little shadow. If I go behind the tree, it's quite cute.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes I've seen this tile set used, and it's sort of where you can go is not clear, but this works all right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so this just looks like a little maze. Step on the altar.
Yeah.
Press space to dash and kill both enemies. Kill. Oh, okay. I dash through them.
Just run them over.
Yeah. So that feels a bit odd. Partly because I've not got much feedback, so I've got there's no sound and no sound effects.
Okay.
And yeah, it feels. Yeah, I don't know. The dash, because the dash is just moving quickly. It feels odd that if I move, I die, but if I dash, I kill them. If that makes sense. Explosive barrels deal damage to nearby entities when collided with. Kill all enemies to progress.
This is when you collide with them, or when they collide with them?
I don't know.
I mean, presumably they don't walk into the barrels by themselves, so it's they walk towards you. You stand near the barrel, and then you blow up the barrel, but you're fine.
Yes, that's where it worked. Yeah. Okay, start wave, and I have to click down here. That's a bit annoying because my hands are on the keyboard, on the WASD and the space to dash, and then to start a wave, I have to click. Okay, so the last wave was 2. This wave is 2. Kill all enemies, progress. Start wave. Okay. Start. I'm wondering whether I'm going to ever get anything other than 2 enemies to defeat.
Mm.
There we go.
I mean, it looks like the portal is lit up. I think it's always been lit up, but I don't know if you could just move on whenever you feel like it.
Yes. So why?
So I think that was all just tutorial pre-game.
Okay.
Section.
Press B to open the shop. Okay. Shop. Okay, here we go.
Item name and item description.
Item name. Yes, let's buy one. Let's buy item name, item description. Buy 2 of those.
Lovely. What do we do with our items?
I don't know.
Are you speedier? Are you...
It doesn't feel that way. Do I die if I hit an enemy like normally? No. Oh, that's interesting. So I can just kill them by walking over them.
So the dash is not actually a kill them, it's a just move faster.
It's a... Yes. Yes. And can I dash? Can't dash through walls or anything. Press B to open the shop.
which we've run out of money now.
Run out of money.
We didn't get any more money when we killed stuff, so we might just never get any more
No.
money. Unless there's piles of treasure hiding somewhere.
There's a portal up there.
That's not glowing, so we do have to switch it on somewhere.
Do you think I need to? So, do you think I need to defeat enough enemies to open the portal?
Presumably.
But then the enemies, yeah. So if I just sit there, the enemies will gradually come to me and kill themselves on me. Okay, so actually, I'm not really killing them. I'm more like collecting them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got 3 more enemies coming from over there. So presumably the enemies come out of those glowy blocks.
I suppose so. There's another wall at the bottom and another wall at the left. So it looks. Oh.
Start waves. Oh, 3 of them. No, still not open.
Okay. I'll have a look through their document in case there's something we could be noticing.
Okay. No, it's still not open. Yeah, not clear to me. I mean, I can carry on killing enemies while we talk, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we jump straight into the marks criteria?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, if we start off with the presentation, we will figure out if there's anything else to see by the time we get to the next bits. So yeah, presentation. What do you reckon? So, lack of audio is a problem.
Particularly when you either collect or defeat these enemies, we'd like a cue for that. If you're in danger, we'd like a cue for that or something.
Yeah. So that seems problematic.
The graphics are appealing and the fonts are nice and things like that.
Yeah, the graphics all work okay.
Information design is going to be probably a bigger problem. What is it that you need to know, and what is it that you get told?
Yes. So the enemies. I mean, again, one of the problems here is that the game's so simple. There's not much information design. So the information design, it appears to be unless I'm wondering whether those portals were always open, because this one isn't opening now. We just sat here. Yeah. So that's the only bit of information design will be if the portal's open, really. But there's not different types of enemies, so the colour of the enemies doesn't mean anything.
There's one piece of information in the entire game, and that's how many enemies you have killed. Yeah. And that is not a piece of information that we actually have tracked.
There's nothing that tells me where the portal is. There's nothing that tells me how many enemies are on screen or available to kill at any one time. Nothing to tell me. Yeah. So I think this might be one of the examples where the information design is almost missing. So if we were to kind of look at the meaningful play criteria, the presentation criteria, I think we've got definitely workable graphics, maybe even professional graphics, complete and effective. I would say that there's not enough going on to say it's complete and effective.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I still think the graphics are fine. So I think, satisfactory level for graphics. Audio is completely missing. And information design is pretty much completely missing. So I think we might be at the problematic level, which would be poor. Which is to say, got some nice graphics. You've put them in. You've got an asset pack and got it working, but really not much more than that, I think.
Yeah, I think the key thing is you need to identify what information the player cares about. In particular, It seems as though the number of enemies killed is a thing that you want the player to care about, but you haven't told them how many enemies they've killed.
No. So that takes us to meaningful play. This is also problematic, right? Because there isn't really any meaningful play. Like at all, because there's no jeopardy. They'll just move towards me and kill me. There's nothing to say how quick can you kill them. So if I took damage and I had to dash to kill them, that would be one thing, right? And then the jeopardy is in obviously not losing my health. If there was a timer and I had to kill them within a certain amount of time, I wouldn't need to be taking damage. But the pressure there is to find them and kill them as quickly as you can. Perhaps using the dash to move around fast or to navigate the level. That doesn't happen. There really is nothing to do. I mean, I can just click the new waves button and they'll come to me and die.
You're doing optimal play at the moment, which is nothing at all.
Yeah. So a poor would be limited, insufficient mechanics, difficult controls, may have critical bugs. An absent would be unplayable, unusable controls, no real gameplay, or may not run properly. I think this is absent. I think this is no real gameplay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. I mean, you
That's
can
a shame.
walk around, so you can go and look at the pretty world, and that's the only actual bit of gameplay, if we want to call that gameplay.
There's no real agency at all. Level design. Well, we're going to talk about level design, pacing, and tutorial. So I don't think I can stop this. So I'm going to restart the game so we can see it again from the beginning. 1 second.
Sure. Yeah, and as you're doing that, I'm going to remind everyone watching, we're going to start with goals, risks, and rewards, and then we'll move on to pacing. So for the goals, risks, rewards, we're interested in, clearly, what are the goals? What are we trying to achieve? And then for risks and rewards, what risky things can we do? And why would we bother doing them? How can we get more rewards by doing something that takes more skill or more risk in some regard?
So let's talk about goals, risks, and rewards then. So look, so that altar is not lit up.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to do on this level to light it up, right? I just have to navigate the level to get there.
Oh, yeah. It's not even like you walk past that little thing in the top right corner and it turns it on.
Oh, it lights up when you get there.
Right,
Kill space to dash and kill both enemies.
Whereas this one is already lit up.
Yeah, and... we got the barrel. We've got about the barrel.
Which never does anything later.
But then doesn't do anything. Oh, I got to hit the thing. Clicking down here to start the waves is odd as well. So I can go through that, and then we've got the shop that doesn't do anything. So obviously they ran out of time to implement that, and then we're here. So so goals, risks, and rewards. What's my goal? The goal is stated to kill all the enemies, right? So I think that's simple, but I know what it is. Risks and rewards, I don't think there are any at all.
I don't think there's any at all. In fact, even the goals, because I think you do have infinite waves spawning as long as you feel like it. You don't actually ever achieve those goals.
Why am I doing this? I'm not being blind. There's not another portal somewhere, is there? So...
I've looked through their document, and they certainly haven't given us any pointers that would make it clearer.
So I mean,
I think this is just as much as they have managed to implement in the time.
So to get a pass, they would have had to have had a limited set of goals, risks, and rewards, and that's simply not here.
Yeah. Below that is incoherent or very limited set of goals, risks, rewards.
And I would say that the goal is
there's some goal.
Yeah, it's maybe the goal is kind of incoherent or at best limited. But again, risks and rewards are totally absent. I think this is probably halfway between a poor and an absent. Just give them a little bit because the goal is stated, even though it's not linked up particularly to the gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was as simple as the enemies spawn from specific places and you can go and turn off the spawners, like you go and kill all the things, and if you could touch this spawning obelisk and then you complete the game by having just pressed all 3 buttons, there would be a goal that actually went somewhere that got implemented.
I think we've also got a little bit of a bug here as well, in that enemies spawn behind the block and therefore it can't get out, and I can't get in, and therefore I can never kill all the enemies. So that's a shame. So I'm basically going to be stuck at this point.
Pacing then.
So there is some very limited pacing in that I had to navigate the level, and then I had to have a simple level where I kill the enemies, and then I have a level where there's lots more enemies. But the weakness in the gameplay just makes it feel flat. That's the problem. There's not enough grist to the game.
The
So
map gets bigger, but nothing
no,
about the map getting bigger matters.
no. So I think
Do we think there's variations in tension, but no coherent pattern?
yeah, I think that you could argue that the level design is sort of tension somewhat rises over time, but the mechanics are flat really, or there's no coherent pattern. I'd be tempted to say it's down at the poor level. I think
Yeah.
it's not completely absent. Right, we're on to the tutorial. So we've got little cues. I quite like the
It does
fact.
tell us things. Obviously, they've failed to implement some of the things like the shop that
Yeah,
would follow from there. But the tutorial part of it does exist. They have
yeah,
remembered to tell us things that we need to know and have
yeah.
told them at the right time.
Again,
They do.
the problem really is that there's so little to the game that there's nothing to explain.
Yeah.
So the tutorial is there. It is linked to progression, but it is so simplistic because there's just not much mechanics to actually articulate. So
I give them some credit for, okay, they told us movement, then they told us what the enemies do, then they told us about these barrels, even though the barrels
yeah,
never come back, and then they told us about the shop. They
yeah,
clearly have understood
yeah.
what the tutorial is supposed to do. It is let down by the gameplay not matching up with that tutorial,
Yes.
but we've kind of already pointed out some of those things in the goals, risk, reward,
Yeah.
and pacing.
So maybe I mean a pass would be gradual explanation of gameplay controls revealed as you play, and a poor would be some explanation of gameplay and controls. And I think what we have here is some exploration of gameplay and controls revealed as you play. So maybe halfway between a poor and a pass.
Yeah, that seems fine. I would say I'm happy to say it's gradual, but I think there's just not enough of it for it to be meaningful.
Nothing to explain. So yeah, so I think I think that's relatively generous, but I think that's okay. Right, I'm going to restart again so we can actually.
Core dynamic is going to be our next thing. I'm interested to hear what your take on the core dynamic of this game is.
So it right. Well, I'm guessing the way that it's phrased. I'm presuming though it's destruction. The way that it plays is a bit more like collection, but there's no feedback. It's almost like there isn't really. I mean, there's almost no game. So there really, I think there is no core dynamic is the answer. But they could have been going for destruction, or they could have been going for collection. The barrel probably implies destruction.
Yep, I agree with everything you've said. Their document turned in one word for the core dynamic section, the word survival, which is not what this game is.
No, that's completely wrong. So. So survival would be that if we have to stay alive for as long as possible, or well, I could just sit here and I survive. So survival is clearly.
You can run into an exploding barrel and survive.
Yeah.
In fact, there is nothing in this game anywhere that
could
ever kill you.
No, that's completely wrong. So I presume they're thinking that in their heads it's a game where you get chased down by these enemy blocks, and that's why it's survival. But if you are equipped to defeat the blocks, then it's not survival, it becomes destruction.
Not only that, you can't fail to defeat the blocks.
No. So, this barrel is really strange. Again, it feels like they've... Do you know what it feels like? It feels like they've been experimenting with different mechanics in a kind of sandbox.
Yeah.
It's like... And then they've handed in their experimental bit, right? It just doesn't cohere as a game. So I think so a poor
it's a shame because some things they have work really well here, right? Like you could start imagining, okay, this game is a destruction game. This game has exploding barrels. You get to place exploding barrels on the map where you want them. Things chase you and they kill you when they hit you. And the whole game is, can you place the barrels in such a way that they run into the barrel before they run into you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you could imagine taking this game and all the mechanics in this game. And just with some clever level design, turning and appropriate feedback, quite easily turning it into quite a fun little game. But yeah, they just haven't made that final step. So look, a poor for core dynamic would be an attempt at a core dynamic, but the primary mechanics detract from it. An absent would be no serious attempt at developing a core dynamic, and I think it probably is down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they'd called it a destruction game, it would probably be in the poor.
Yes.
The only beneficial factor is they have named one of the dynamics that we've taught them about, but they didn't name the right one.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's in the absent category.
So feedback then is the last bit.
Yeah, I'm really interested to hear what they said, because we must have given them some pretty strong feedback as to what to do with this.
Yeah. So the feedback consisted of what mechanics would be used to give the core dynamic of survival, ways the players can die not related to the enemies and risk reward of the game. Based on this feedback for mechanics, we decided the progression would be based on the number of enemies killed rather than the fixed timer mechanic to incentivize interaction with the gameplay for defeating enemies. Be further extended by a currency drop mechanic, blah 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 blah. And yeah, so the feedback was, if you're pitching a survival game, the player needs to be able to die and needs to be rewarded for surviving.
Yes.
And the mechanism was count the number of enemies killed and get rid of the timer.
Yeah, that's yes, okay. So that's clearly not they've not really understood the feedback they've had, have they?
No.
So they've managed to articulate it, but they've not made any positive changes. In fact, they may even have made it worse.
Yeah.
So pass would be feedback was addressed, but changes have had limited success. Poor would be feedback was addressed well, was not addressed well, but other positive changes we made. And absent would be feedback was not reported or addressed. There is no serious attempt to make changes. I don't think it's quite absent. So it's kind of
it's poor.
Probably down at the 4 level. It was not addressed well. Although some other positive changes. The problem is I don't think they have made any positive changes, have they?
I suppose.
So it's sort of halfway between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Final thoughts on this one?
Overall, it's a shame because there are good aspects to this. Essentially, they've got parts of a game that could stick together in an interesting way. They've just missed some of the quite important glue that holds it all together.
Yeah, it feels like they've like I said, they've built themselves a sandbox. They have a set of building blocks. And very often, what happens in game design is you need to build like a world simulation, if you like, a place in which the player can have agency and interact, and then you build the game on top of that. And you think, well, what would be fun to do in this space? And it feels to me like they've just done the first bit. So with a few more days, you could have said, right, okay, well. What could we do here? We might want to have a thing like you said. Perhaps you're being chased by the enemies. That might be one way to go. Another one is that you're trying to and then you're surviving as long as you can. Another one would be that you're trying to destroy the enemies. There's all sorts of ways you could go with it, but they've not quite done that final step. So it feels like it's quite an embryonic game with potential, but nothing really to demonstrate so far.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Okay, I think that's the last one in our video. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.